review the mission statement, which is on our agenda.
Well, what I put out last month, and we'll just continue to do this, and what I suggested is taking just a couple minutes to articulate what the mission statement really kind of means, and also what does that look like in your estimation? How does that play out? That might be add some meaning to words. The words are great, but will actually add some meaning that maybe would give us some guidance as we move forward. And what I suggested, and feel free to do whatever you want, but what I suggested was looking at the first part of the mission statement. Sac County Schools empower all students. I'd just like to hear you dialogue a bit about that. What does that mean? What jumps out at you? How could that manifest itself in day-to-day action?
Basically, we have to provide them with the skills to enter the workforce eventually, or secondary education. So, do you want us to establish goals or something?
No.
Just want us to talk about it.
We just want it to become internalized.
Can we open it up as all 10? Because I have something that I'd really like to say. I coach soccer and baseball, softball. And there's a really big deal in sports with kids playing and not playing. Some kids just aren't good enough to play. Some kids are a lot better. Just kids are kids. And my philosophy has always been that if you're out, you should get the opportunity to play. And that means all of the kids should get the opportunity. If they're not very good, they should still get the opportunity. I mean, when they get a little older, then yeah, maybe they're not going to go out. So that's why I like the first part of this, is because the word all in there. That means all of the kids. If one kid's having a bad day and this teacher thinks, man, I just didn't do anything with this kid, but then she remembers or he remembers all kids, and then he or she can say, maybe this kid can do something today. Let's try to help it. That's the way I like to look at it. All.
And I think as a board and as administrators and everyone associated with the school, we have a responsibility to all of our students. And some are easier to work with, but that doesn't mean we throw them away, that the ones that are not quite as much fun. And so I think there is great power to what you said as a reminder.
Yeah, if you're struggling, you can just remember that all kids, maybe help this one out a little bit more. That's my 2 cents.
When I look at that statement, the first thing I focus on is empower. I think that's a pretty powerful word. Could have said that these Sac County schools enable all students, or encourage all students, or suggest that all students. And none of those, I think, have the force and the dynamic that the word empower has. I think that the word empower says all of those things. It's going to enable, it's going to encourage, it's going to suggest. But beyond that, it's going to see to it that it happens. I would stop at that point and then proceed, take another chunk of that and look at that. And certainly all would have to be a primary consideration. I mean, you could probably cut that off right there, all students. And go again with what Chris has already said.
Any other deep thoughts?
You get into philosophy here, that's basically what we're doing. And what goes through my mind is when I see this, is I get into thinking about the criticism of No Child Left Behind. And what goes through my mind is that, okay, we don't like this, but give me another way. Give me another way to make sure that we can get an evaluation as to what a child learns. And I think that everybody, every class should have a standard that they have to learn certain things in that classroom, that time that they're in there. And if they don't, then they should have no right to pass that course. But unfortunately, in all schools that I've ever had anything to do with, they let them go by. And it bothered me, but the standard should always be there that they have to get this. Now, there's some kids just aren't blessed that way, and there's got to be an adjustment there. But I think you have to get certain things out of everything that you take, and it should be almost required that they have to do that. That's easy for me to sit here and say. When you have parents come in and talk to you, that's another issue. But that goes through my mind. So I'm off the subject, but I'm off the subject.
I personally like the word empower. I think it is very powerful. However, and I agree that it should be all students, but not every child is cut out of the same mold. And when they're not cut from the same mold, the teachers need to have the tools to be able to empower these students. And if the teachers don't have the tools, then this statement here, this mission statement, is false, as far as I'm concerned. So, I mean, we can use the big words that probably half the kids don't even understand what empowerment means. We can use those, and we can understand as a group that we're saying all children, but that's not always the case.
But what a powerful thing for a board, actually, that Shannon, taking your terminology, empowering teachers and others. That's really one of the things the board has as a responsibility, is to equip people, whether it's with resources or whatever. That really falls under your purview. So I think that's a good thing. I didn't mean to cut you off, Lisa.
No.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't want to spend hours. I just want to get some depth of thought. You're either deeply thinking or really tired. I can't tell yet.
Good busy day so far.
We can elaborate on this another meeting, too.
Yeah, it's going to keep coming in front of you as long as you let me have part of the agenda, so.
I think one of the things that's important, which I think Shannon was alluding to, and so was Dave, is the fact that we do need to empower all the students, and if we have some that are struggling, we need to get them the extra help on the side so that the main course of the students are able to move ahead. They will come, but they need the extra help someplace, and maybe it's not always in the same classroom.
Well, and people can be productive at different levels. They're not always
Should be a cookie cutter.
rocket scientists, doctors, whatever, but we need good productive plumbers, electricians, carpenters, farmers, so that you can become productive and responsible at a level that you can be competent at.
And contributing.
Right.
And what Shannon said, you know, you can look at this as more than just empowering the kids. For us as the board, we have to empower the teachers. I mean, it really breaks it down to all the levels.
Do we need to bring staff in to tell us what they think the mission, to share with us some groups of staff and to share with us what they think the mission statement means? Or what we can do to empower them?
At some point, perhaps. I think it's going to be healthy for us at the board level to have this discussion and then see where it leads us. That would be my opinion.
Well, and this was created, oh geez, what was it?
3/4 of the staff.
Yeah, with the bulk of the staff, I shouldn't say bulk, because there were several groups. There was probably 15, 20 from K-12 that were on the groundwork of creating this.
But if they're lacking
Sure.
tools right now to do this, we need to know if we're going to empower them, so.
Yeah, I think at some point that'd be good. I think it's probably more important for us to have this type of discussion regularly, because out of that can come some good, in my opinion.
So they get the next 4 or 5 words next.